Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV back with another video, and we are here to review the 1995 James Bond movie, a movie that I thought had came out like a year before it actually came out because it has those vibes to it. We have the Goldeneye movie, man. This is a movie that I have long wanted to watch. It is a spy movie. I mean, James Bond, one of the original spy movie franchises. I mean, he really opened doors for a lot of spy movies, James Bond type of movies. Yeah, Goldeneye. We're going to talk about the plot, we're going to get into what people think about it, and then I'm going to prepare to stream at noon here. I'm going to be playing probably some Fortnite for the first bit of it. Yeah. So, in 1986, Military Intelligence Section 6 agents James Bond and Alec Trevelyan infiltrate a Soviet chemical weapons facility in Arkhangelsk. There are a lot of foreign things in this movie, so if I mispronounce them, I'm sorry. I'm American. I butcher all sorts of words. It's normal. I mean, people out of country probably butcher American words too. English words, if you will. While Trevelyan is caught and apparently shot by Colonel Arkady Grigorovich Oromov, the facility's commanding officer, Bond, manages to destroy the site before escaping. So right a fucking way, we get an action sequence in this movie. And I think this movie, it does a really good job of not having too much action porn in it. I feel like there's a lot of intimate scenes, a lot of spots for emotion, and that's things that a lot of action movies lack, and something I can definitely appreciate from this movie. Some things that happen in this movie are a bit confusing, but yeah. While undergoing an assessment 9 years later, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Bond attempts to prevent Xenia Onatop, a member of the Janus crime syndicate, from stealing a Eurocopter Tiger attack helicopter during a military demonstration in Monte Carlo, but fails. So she pretty much beats a couple dudes' asses like a badass. She's one of the more badass females I've seen in an action movie. I mean, those Russians, they don't fucking play around. I think she's from Georgia, which is like a thing, like a state in Russia. Is that what they call it? Province, whatever. Like a little territory in Russia. Yeah. She beats a couple guys' asses. She dresses up as a pilot. She was a former pilot herself, so she's very fit for the job, and drives off with it. Returning to London, Bond oversees MI6 staff monitoring an incident in Severnaya, Siberia, after the stolen helicopter turns up at a radar facility there. So they figure out kind of where she landed the helicopter. This movie takes place in France, it takes place in London, Russia. Oh my god, it goes all over the damn world, everywhere but the United States. And something I almost forgot about when I watched this, because this is my first James Bond movie I've ever watched in the franchise. I'll probably watch a decent amount more, maybe a couple more, but yeah, man, I forgot it happened across the country. It's a very French movie, Italian movie. An electromagnetic pulse blast suddenly hits the site, destroying it in Russian fighter aircraft while knocking out all satellite systems in orbit above, so they kind of lose connection to this helicopter, and yeah, obviously that's unfortunate for them. The newly appointed M assigns Bond to investigate after it is determined the blast came from a Soviet-era satellite armed with a nuclear electromagnetic pulse space-based weapon codenamed Goldeneye. So that's where the name of the movie comes from, the gadget they used to kind of blow up the place. Yeah. The electromagnet used to blow up the place. So the Goldeneye, usually in a James Bond movie, there's a relic that everyone's going after, and it is a Goldeneye in this movie. So, although Janus is suspected of initiating the attack, Bond suspects Oromov, now a general, had involvement due to the weapon system requiring high-level military access. So they're thinking he kind of opened this thing with the Goldeneye and took it, blew it up. Yeah, you kind of have to have insane amount of keys and shit to get in there. It's like high security lockdown. Traveling to St. Petersburg, Bond is advised by CIA contact Jack Wade to meet former KGB agent-turned-gangster Valentin Zhukovsky and have him arrange a meeting with Janus. So he's trying to get to Janus this whole time. He's like, Janus could have caused this explosion. This movie, it's a lot going on with it. I mean, it's about 2 hours long, and there's still so much shit happening. I would say with the post credits and the end credits, I would say it's about 2 hours. So subtract 10 minutes. Um, Escorted by Onatop, Bond discovers that Janus is led by Trevelyan, having faked his death at Arkhangelsk, and learns he is descended from the Lians Cossacks, who were repatriated to the Soviet Union after collaborating with the Axis powers during World War II. So kind of a little bit of history. I mean, this movie took place 50 years after World War II. Who knows when the movie actually happened? I didn't really see any time cards on. I saw like a 9 years later when I was about to say John Wick, sorry, James Bond was driving down the road with that girl and racing the Ferrari girl as well. By the way, that Russian lady is weird, man. On the top, I knew someone was going to make an on the top of things like joke about her, and they did. So yeah, the general from the beginning, where James kind of broke all like the gas bomb, like the gas chamber, the gas tanks, and it like blew up the place. He faked his death, and he actually survived. Learning that Trevelyan seeks revenge against Britain for betraying his parents, Bond is sedated before he can kill him, and trapped in the Stolen Tiger alongside Natalia Semenova, a survivor of the Severnaya attacks. So that's another pretty big character that we're like just now introduced to, and she becomes a pretty big role. And I like how they did her character kind of in this movie. Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff there. Despite escaping before the helicopter's destruction, the pair are captured by Russian troops and taken before Russian Minister of Defense Dmitry Mishkin for interrogation. So they're kind of captured by the Russians, and they're forced to let it all out, I guess. Tell them why they're here, what their motives are. The heated argument between the men leads Natalia to affirm Oramov's involvement in the use of Goldeneye. So Natalia knows this whole time that he was involved with it, and she could have told James before this intervention. And that fellow programmer Boris Grishenko, the nerdy guy that was kind of flirting with her before all of this happened, survived with her, and now works for Janus and operating a second Goldeneye satellite. So he kind of turned against the core powers and went to a different place, and is helping them use this Goldeneye weapon. So before Mishkin can act on the information, Oromov arrives and kills him. Again, there's so many characters in this show, like, you don't know who is who attacked who does what, like, what are their occupations, what do they do in the storyline. Maybe they had too many characters thrown in here. Maybe if we were just left with James Bond and the two girls and maybe a couple generals, but no, a lot of, like, ministers of defense, the prime minister, the generals, I mean, like, the programmer. I mean, I know who Boris is. He's a pretty, like, unique character. He's very nerdy, geeky. He's got a unique persona to him, but some of these other generals, they just seem like NPC characters that I can never have an attachment to really remember what they did for this story. Maybe I'm stupid for that. Bond and Natalia lead the guards on a chase through the military archive. So this is, I think, is where she, like, hacks the computers. Oromov escapes with Natalia in a car with Bond pursuing in a tank. Oh yeah, this was a fire scene. I loved this car chase scene. The chase leads to a missile train used by Janus in which Bond kills Oromov before escaping from the train with Natalia before Trevelyan destroys it. So this movie kind of takes like a food chain approach to things. You know, like, you kill him, I kill you type of thing. A chain of events, I guess. Looking at my phone here, sorry. Bond and Natalia traveled to Cuba, so we're now in Cuba. Like, we're literally all over the world. After Boris is traced to a location with the island's jungles. I mean, a lot of landscapes, a lot of cool settings for this movie, which is something I definitely appreciate quite a bit. While flying over the area, they are shot down. Onatop attacks them after they crash land, but Bond kills her during the fight. I think this is where they're on, like, the train. Or no, that's after the train thing. She has, like, this harness on her, and she, like, gets pulled into the tree and, like, backstabbed. I don't know how she died. It was kind of confusing at first. But yeah, the pair soon witness a hidden base emerge from a large lake, revealing a satellite dish, and proceed to infiltrate it. So like the water kind of like goes down. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Some crazy shit going on. Bond is captured while trying to rig explosives to destroy the base, and learns from Trevelyan that he intends to use Goldeneye to devastate London to conceal the theft of financial records from the Bank of England. While Natalia is captured as well, she manages to hack into the satellite and reprogram it to initiate atmospheric re-entry and thus destroy itself. So she pretty much learns some things from Boris in terms of like hacking and programming, and she gets into the system. So Boris kind of caused their demise, I suppose. When Boris loses his cool trying to undo her programming, Bond uses the moment to trigger a grenade concealed in a pen to allow him and Natalia to escape. So, the pen grenade. He visited the gadget guy in the middle of the movie, and he gave him a pen. And that's what the pen was used. I feel like everyone kind of knew. He was like flipping the pen around, and they were like really focused on that shot, and we were like, oh shit, it's about to blow up. So to prevent Boris from regaining control of the satellite, Bond sabotages the dish's antenna by jamming its gears. Trevelyan tries to stop him, and their ensuing fight culminates in them dangling below the antenna before Bond drops Trevelyan to the roof of the complex, mortally wounding him. But no, you fell fucking how many stories high, and you didn't die at first. Obviously, he ends up dying. I feel like the creators of the movie saw this, and they're like, what the hell? He didn't die yet? Why did we do that? So it's kind of the cliche, fighting on top of a high structure, and one of them's like hanging off the edge. It's very cliche, but it is one of the original movies, so I guess I can't really say it's cliche because it's one of the first movies to kind of do so and have these type of scenes. Movies like this, Mission Impossible, Die Hard, I think they all have scenes like that. So Natalia rescues Bond in a commandeered helicopter moments before the antenna malfunctions and explodes, destroying the base and killing Trevelyan by falling debris, and Boris is ruptured by liquid nitrogen canisters. It's like the place kind of explodes, and the explosions like break into the liquid nitrogen cases, and like Boris is kind of stuck in the middle. It's kind of funny, like the way the effects were for the time and how it looked like when he was like frozen up by liquid nitrogen. They probably took like a sculpture, and it looked so funny. It looked fake. That's one of the examples of the movie reminding me of like an 80s film, because I've seen a couple of 80s films and I've reviewed them on the channel, and they have those type of effects, like The Thing, those type of effects. After landing somewhere safe, the pair prepare to enjoy some solitude together, but are interrupted by the arrival of Wade and a team of U.S. Marines who escort them to Guantanamo Base. So hey, there's the cliffhanger. A movie has a cliffhanger. Not all movies have cliffhangers, but given how successful of a James Bond movie, of a James Bond franchise, and the fact that they have fucking over 20 movies probably in the series, like I could probably look it up right now for you guys. I won't though. We're just going to talk about the reviews. Like, when the film came out. That's important to note. Mostly positive reception. 80% of Rotten Tomatoes. The first and best Pierce Brosnan Bond film. Pierce Brosnan starred in this. I forgot to give you guys that. And the Russian girl, I can't remember what her name was. It was kind of confusing. Goldeneye brings the series into a more modern context, and the result is an 007 entry that's high-tech, action-packed, and urbane. Metacritic gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Cinema Score gave it an A-. 3 out of 4 for the Chicago Tribune, or Chicago Sun-Times. Brosnan's Bond was somehow more sensitive, more vulnerable, more psychologically complete than the previous ones. Bond's loss of innocence since previous films has been displayed in this. Brosnan was a decided improvement over his immediate predecessor, with a flair for wit to go along with his natural charm. Fully 1/4 of Goldeneye's momentum killing padding. Sure, yeah, I can agree with that. There's not always like good scenes and stuff in this movie. Bond is a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. What? The film breathes fresh, creative, and commercial life into the series. It was an eye and ear-pleasing, action-packed entry in the Bond series. The film gave Bond a bit of humanity as well. It revamps the indomitable British spirit. The Die Hard movies don't even come close to 007. That's probably not true. I haven't even watched those movies, but that's probably not true. It's the best Bond film since The Spy Who Loved Me. That's what people are kind of saying. The greatest success of it was in modernizing the series. Maybe so. That's probably a fair point. Film received negative reviews. People say that after a third of a century's hard use, Bond's intervention survived on wobbly knees. People thought the series had entered a near-terminal state of exhaustion. Maybe. People said that it was a middle-aged entity anxious to appear trendy at all costs. People said that the trademark humor is in short supply and that Goldeneye isn't classic Bond by any stretch. What? Oh man, people have weird reviews for stuff. I think this movie was good. It's a pretty good introduction into the Bond series. I think I'm going to watch Casino Royale for sure. People say that the new Bond actor and stuff aren't as good. Hold on, I'm going to turn my PlayStation on to kind of prepare for stream. People say the new Bond actors aren't as good as like Pierce Brosnan, and maybe that's true. That might be a fair point, but I can't remember the new guy's name. But I feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about him, and I feel like they've said he's a good actor and all that. So I'm excited. I don't really have much to say, guys and girls. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned, because in about 5 minutes here on my Twitch, I'm going to be streaming, and I'm really excited. I'm getting kind of everything booted up for you guys. Yeah. Probably play some Fortnite, probably play some GTA, maybe some Fall Guys. I'm going to be streaming for about 3 or 4 hours, depending on how I feel. Me and the boy Logan, we've been trying to revitalize or revamp my Twitch channel. But anyway.